A new study of baby boomers and Generation Xers released this summer shows that no matter their income level, a significant number of U.S. workers are likely to struggle to meet basic expenses during retirement. This study from the Washington-based Employee Benefit Research Institute. My guest is Jack Vanderhei. He is a research director at EBRI. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you. My pleasure.
How do the results of this study compare to previous studies? I'm guessing that it's not getting better.
Well, actually, the conventional wisdom is incorrect in this case. We had done the first study back in 2003, and for the same age cohorts, we found that approximately 12% of the population was better off in terms of having a chance of adequate retirement income in 2010 than they were in 2003. And of course, the next question obviously is, well, did you account for the market crash and the real estate crash and everything else? And indeed we did. But what's really driving that result, the improvement over those last 7 years, is what has happened with respect to the way in which many employers offer 401k plans today. If you go back to 2003, basically, if you were a new employee for an employer that offered a 401k plan, they tell you on day one that if you want to join the plan, you can, but obviously with inertia, or perhaps people are just too busy or lazy or haven't figured out the true financial advantages in a 401k plan, many never got around to it. In fact, if you look at the low income and the young individuals, the percentage of people who would take advantage of a 401k plan was in the 40% range. In 2006, Congress passed the Pension Protection Act, and what that did was give incentives to a lot of employers to start doing something called automatic enrollment, which just basically reversed it. And on day one, they automatically put you in the 401k plan. They tell you they're in the 401k plan. They tell you how much of your money is automatically coming out of your check. And anytime you want to stop that or change the amount that's coming out, you can do so. But just because you've changed the default from the employee having to opt in to the employee having to opt out, you've in essence more than doubled the participation rates, especially among the low income, who, not surprisingly, were the part of the population who is most at risk for not having adequate retirement income. And in fact, we've tracked through in many different ways, and we find that more than anything else in the last 7 years, it's what's driving the increase in the percentage of the population who should be able to have adequate retirement income.
With regards to the 401k, what is the thing that determines whether or not you're going to save enough? Is it simply just how much you elect to have deducted from your income or your paycheck? Is it the time that you're in, or what?
All those things matter. One of the things that probably matters more than most people would possibly believe is every time you change jobs, you unfortunately have the ability to shoot yourself in the foot by cashing out that money. Not only will you pay a 10% penalty tax, but you have to pay the normal tax rate on that too. And not surprisingly, a lot of people, especially when they're young, just assume, well, I'll start saving for retirement on the next job. They use that for a down payment on a house or a vacation or what have you. And that, to a very large extent, among those individuals who actually are participating in a 401k plan, makes probably the biggest difference. But as you mentioned, things like having the appropriate contribution rate, having the appropriate asset allocation are also very, very important.
And Jack, did the study account for those people in this economy who were forced to make hardship withdrawals from their 401ks just to survive?
Oh, sure. We've not only seen an increase in the withdrawals through something called hardship withdrawals, but we've also seen an increase in plan loans. Now, the nice thing about plan loans is you take out the money when you need it in case of an emergency, but you will be paying that back within 5 years, unless it's actually for the purchase of a principal residence. So while that money is available for you to help you through an emergency, is, as long as you stay with that employer, that's automatically going to go back into your 401k plan for you.
And then you're able to pay that back, and the interest rate you're essentially paying yourself, correct?
Exactly. Right.
So the essential information here in this study is that if it is at all possible, is to get yourself in a 401k. I mean, finally, as we wrap it up here, for people who are approaching retirement, and it looks like there's a large number who are going to need to get some more assets, is it just a matter of working longer, or can you just, in the last couple of years, make that difference up?
Well, certainly, if you had been on target prior to 2008, it's possible that just by increasing your contribution rate a little bit that you can get back to where you were. But that's a big assumption, and in fact, if you look at what happened in 2008 and 2009, that market correction didn't necessarily push people off of a path they should have been. It made many of them realize they were never even close to the right path in the first place. So if you're getting close to what you think is your retirement age with assets nowhere close to where you need, my biggest recommendation is, as much as you may not like it, it's better to keep working a couple extra years at 65, 66, 67, what have you, than to retire at 65 and find out after 10 years you don't have enough money for the rest of your retirement and then try and get back into the labor force at age 75. It's going to be infinitely more difficult to do something like that. So if you don't know if you're on target, there's many good websites out there. We have one that you can go on for free and basically within about 5 minutes get a first order approximation as far as whether you're where you should be or not. Is called choosetosave.org. There's many other very good websites out there, but please, before you actually retire, either check out on your own or perhaps even pay a financial professional who is skilled at retirement planning to have you figure out if you can afford to do so, because it's going to be so much better to basically wait until such time that you do have adequate financial resources to retire than just do it early and then pay the consequences later.
Jack Vanderhei is the research director of the Employee Benefit Research Institute in Washington. Thank you, Jack.
My pleasure.
I'm Scott Drake. Thanks for watching.